Hey, thanks for joining us at 616 Comic Reviews. We're going to be looking at Suicide Squad New 52 number 4. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 616 Comic Reviews. This is Aaron here. We're looking at New 52 Suicide Squad number 4. The writer is Adam Glass. The artist is Federico DeLucia. And the cover artist is Ken Lashley. So, first of all, we'll start with the cover art. Not my favorite cover. I kind of like the blurring effect. You don't see that if you hand drew it. I don't know. That's pretty dang amazing. If it's not hand drawn, then it's pretty interesting to put it on there. Honestly, not my favorite cover though. So we'll just get straight to it. So they start out. They're on an op right off the bat. They're at a military installation. They're mostly on a fact-seeking mission. Starts off with Harley Quinn snapping a guy's neck. Very good visual and. King Shark finishing the guy off with what you assume was a nice chomp to the head, as he would say, crunch, crunch, crunch. So, anyways, you move on. You see that they're inside the installation. Get a little bit of a look at it. They're kind of making their way over to look for a particular person. They're making their way towards it. They go through, get to this little scene where they're kind of like a medical wing. All the doctors all of a sudden just start gasping and die. You find out that it's actually from the cyanide poisoning. They kind of move on. El Diablo kind of tries to save this lady's life. They make their way more towards the middle of the installation. Basically, what they're doing is they're infiltrating slowly. They're trying not to be noticed as they make their way to where they need to be. At the same time as they're joking and kind of toying with each other. Great shot right here where you got the whole team. Captain Boomerang at the head of it. Not really a character I particularly care for, but still, this is a great panel right there. I really like this sequence of events too. This is really kind of a cool way they did this. If you look from panel to panel, each one, you can see that these words are moving with the characters, and you can actually see that the words are moving. I thought that was really, really interesting and cool that they did that. It's almost like seeing movement when there really isn't there. So it's kind of cool. So they get to the point where they run into this one of the founders of this basilisk. Her name's Gray Laura, and she's looking. They're looking for a lady who happens to be her sister. They don't know it, but her sister's already dead, and she knows it though. And so she freaks out because they start talking about her, and then Captain Boomerang comes into view. And come to find out that it was Captain Boomerang who was the one who had killed her sister. It was a private hit, and he didn't know that they were looking for the same person. And apparently it was she would go under a different name, Asp. And so anyways, Captain Boomerang starts to freak out. It starts to feel like everybody's going to turn against him because it's starting to look like a setup. So he starts using the power to blow their heads off with that trigger switch that Amanda Waller had gave him. Well, he gets all the way to the point where he actually clicks it to blow all their heads off, and he realizes that there's no bomb. Well, there's bombs, but his detonator don't work. So since the detonator doesn't work, Deadshot quickly realizes, after shooting a hole in Captain Boomerang's hands, that they were actually supposed to deliver Captain Boomerang to this basilisk lady to be able to get a little bit of information. So they go through, they get back, done with the mission. They evac, they come back, they start talking to Amanda Waller as she greets him on the tarmac. One of the doctors, or one of the people that works for the prison, Belle Reeve, turns off Harley Quinn's bomb before she gets in there, and Amanda Waller snaps at her. But right as that happens, there's something breaks out in the prison, and there's a huge riot that breaks out. And during the riot, you can see all of these other prisoners have escaped, and now Task Force X has to take on all of the prisoners from Belle Reeve, and that's where it basically ends. Gotta say, I think the art is really good. I like the art a lot. I like the, certain panel. I mean, this panel right here, just the ending panel is great. Reminiscent to me, really just reminds me of things I've seen from the X-Men early in my life. And something about that really appeals to me. The art is really good. I like the way they use shadows. It's a very kind of dark comics based off Spec Ops, Black Ops. So everything's kind of dark. It's kind of, you never know where you're at, and they give you that feeling. Definitely, the story's really pretty good, but the first half of it is kind of boring. Building up, to that point is kind of boring. But I think it's also building towards a bigger event, which to come, which is what you see at the end. Obviously, Belle Reeve being taken over, that's a big deal. So I would rate this comic, I go at 8 out of 10. I think I go at the 8 out of 10 mostly because the first half, I just feel like you could have got a lot more done in all those panels. It's a long section where you feel like you don't get anywhere, but it kind of definitely picks up towards the end and makes it well worth reading. So I would definitely give it like an 8 out of 10. So that being the end here, we'll see you next time.